Okay, I'm back. So we're gonna do the special moves today. Yeah, I think he has 4.5 maybe. Some would debate if still growing is a move. But yeah, we have Beak Driver, Hoof Stomp, Elk, and then we have Hawk Baker, and then still growing. Okay. So what I want to do is for each individual move, I want to talk about their application at neutral, and then their uses in defense and offense. So it's going to be lengthy, right? Because that's, offense is going to vary. Like, what do you do on hit? What do you do on block? And stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty detailed, but hopefully, like, by the time you're done, you'll have, like, all the scenarios that you would need to be like, okay, I need to do this here. I need to do that, right? It's kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to try to, it's going to be kind of lengthy. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be shorter than normal. It's not going to be shorter than normals, I don't think, but we'll still have fun with it. So starting with Hawk or Beak Driver, right? This is probably the most used move. It's debatable, but it's probably is your most used move for neutral and basic poking, right? Because it gives you your confirms from just about anywhere, right? And so that's basically why that's why it's gonna be used so frequently, and this is the knockdown you're gonna see the most. If you're wondering what to do from like for neutral uses, right? I was trying to. This is like my favorite example is like characters that kind of have these charged fireballs. You can use the tip of the Beak Driver to go right through it, right? The big one is like Leo. Leo's like a good example of it. Whenever he does that big charge fireball, just run up at him and just stab him with the tip of your Beak Driver, and then you'll just win. So we talk about what you. Oh, I should mention the OS before I get going. So I did mention it, I think, in the intro video, but or maybe not. I don't remember anymore. But so how the OS works is that you're going to be doing the follow. So basically, you can have Beak Driver do the follow up on hit or block, and then on counter hit, it'll do the dash cancel, right? And all it really is that you're kind of just going to do a really early like you're gonna do Beak Driver, then press hard slash almost immediately, and then with a slight pause, you're gonna press the dash button or do a forward. And so I'll kind of show you what it looks like. I'm gonna put it to random block. I'm assuming I don't mess this up. We should get some right it is on random. No, it's on force. No. Alright, bad example. Here we go. Right, there it is. And there you go. And so this is pretty irrelevant because a lot of times in the previous game you didn't get a lot of conversions from counter hit Beak Driver. I still think it's a worthwhile OS to learn. It also applies to Elk Hunt. Well, it's the same situation for Elk Hunt. It's gonna be like right? So if you want to pick this up on counter hit, it's pretty easy. It's the combo that I did like a million times in normal. It's just that something like that. It's pretty decent. It's really expensive. Like look at that. It leaves you with no gauge whatsoever. And so if you can, I would really recommend farming into Tyrant Barrel. As long as it hits counter hit, it'll always go into Tyrant. Or as long as it goes into, as long as it hits, it will go into Tyrant Barrel. On counter hit, you can also do. Sorry, my pad's been really, really not nice this recently. On counter hit, you can always do Ride the Lightning actually. And so if you want to switch your OS from doing the dash point, you can always just buffer the Ride the Lightning. Which is really nice because, pretty much any hit into Ride the Lightning will get you the wall rate. On hit, on mid-screen, you really can only do, depending on distance, you can do one of two things. Like, if you want, like, a meaty, like, a decent, like, lockdown situation, you can get a far slash. So, backdash real quick here. Right. Right, you can do a far slash. 2S does work, but I find that that little bit of extra like speed for far slash kind of lets you get in a little bit further to be a little bit deeper. Okay, and then moving on, we have the other one I've been doing. This is one I've been doing a lot. Is actually this. That it's a micro dash into Elk Hunt. As far as I could tell, this will cover backdashes, and basically it'll just hit meaty. And it's just really good because like a lot of players will try to get out of your meaty position, like your meaty setup right there. And this one is just like 100% guaranteed. It seems to work no matter what, as long as you time it properly. And so a lot of my wins just come from not just trying to mash up or trying to mash something on wake up, and then it always connects. So that's been really, really strong and it's been really, really healthy for since Oki game after the Beak driver follow up. In the corner, you don't really need to do any. Oh, I guess I should mention this too. You can always just take a dash cancel if you wanted to more like a more like frontal approach, right? Because if you do this or you do dash with far slash, you're not going to have enough for a throw or a 5H for a mix up. But if you're willing to blow the gauge and go for the dash, you can do it, and you still have a block left over. So that means you'd still be able to do overhead into super or something like that. In the corner, this is where it's actually pretty. It's like really, really strong. Still don't get any safe jumps or anything because Sin just doesn't really have that luxury. But you can do pretty much anything, right? Like meaty 2S, like a super meaty 2S if you want to like deprive them of their wake up option, like we mentioned before with 2S in part 2. The other option is that you could go like it's the world's your oyster in the corner basically. You can do whatever you want, like go directly into the overhead. Like this is all inescapable. Like if you just go directly into the overhead, yeah, that's a perfect meaty. There's like actually if they were to actually do something on mash, that would actually get you a combo. So that's pretty good, right? And so once you're in the corner, you can just basically run offense. I know I haven't talked about what you do for like offense. So I'll do that in a separate video where I talk about like the generic mix. But for just piecemeal, you can always just go into 5H and then do either hoof stomp or L-click. And that's just your basic generic mixing you do after it. I want to mention something else. So on block, this is pretty. It's -3. It's safe, right? So, if you can actually do, so I'm gonna talk about like the cool things you can do real quick. So, wow, my pad is really not playing nice today. If you're at max range, Beak driver range, okay, so he's doing far slash. At this range, you're actually in a pretty good spot to contest a lot of buttons. Because at that, like, look at that range. Like, if you know the spacing of this, how it's gonna hit, you can really be really, really squirrely right there. And you can kind of like predict what buttons are gonna be pressing at that range. Like a common one I see a lot is actually like they'll do something like at that range. A lot of people will go for a 2S because 2K is not gonna hit, right? It's just too far. And so I like to force this everyone, like to show this. I should probably really demonstrate this with Hoof Stomp, but oopsies. Right there. Any move that doesn't hit you within the jump startup frames of Hoof Stomp will just lose to Hoof Stomp. And so that's why a lot of times, like, if you see them, like, if you know how they're poking, notably with, like, if they're doing 2S or far slash, you could always just kind of call them out with a 6P if they're doing a far slash or a hoof stomp if they're doing lows. It's a pretty aggressive maneuver, because in all honesty, with how good his backdash is now, I think actually just taking the backdash is the best option in Season 3. Okay. Right. It's a pretty good one. It goes back to neutral. You're really far away, and you're actually in a pretty good range to just do another Beak driver, in all honesty. So another thing I want to mention is that, so I told you how actually this is like pure block stream. There's no hole in between. Eventually, what you're going to be wanting to do, or if you're not doing it already, is actually kind of incorporating a slight gap. I recommend that you try to do, like, record yourself doing this on block against Soul, and then trying to make your follow-up always hit him when he's mashing 5k on block. Because you want to be able to do the follow-up in a way that just stops any amount of mash, right? And also, if you do that, you guarantee that you can also stop them from jumping. And so I'm gonna do it with Kai because I'm cheating, right? I do really, really recommend that you do learn the timing of this, right? So basically, you just want that scenario. Like, you want to do it just medium enough that whatever button they press, they'll lose. And in the other scenario, you would also like to be able to stop them from doing a jump. See, it's not that. Like that, right? You want to get the jump started. The big reason why you also may want to... So why 3 frames is imperfect is because it leaves enough of a gap that if they do a throw... Right? That's going to happen if you do it too early. Shoot, this is actually... Oh, throws are active for longer than that, yeah. Yeah, so basically, you kind of want to get that 1 frame gap, right? That 1 frame window. And I know it sounds crazy, but you can also do 2. If you do 2, it'll jail them from doing a throw. But if you do that one frame and they were mashing throw, because what a lot of players will do against Sin is actually they'll mash throw because it beats the follow-ups. It beats both follow-up options. Well, it tries to. If they actually do an immediate throw, they will lose to the follow-up, right? See, like that? And so there is like a bit of like a mind game between, hey, are they going to mash throw, and then how do you deal with it? And the answer is you kind of have to just vary up between doing the regular, the command dash, and then doing the follow-up. And this becomes really important, and I think one thing you'll do is if you just play Sin a lot, you'll kind of develop a feel for the timing of what you need to do. But I do really recommend that you kind of do your homework and do study how to make sure that you do have a frame, like a 1 to 2 frame gap when you do your follow-ups. Just like, because you don't want to see them jumping from your follow-up, right? Because that could have been a free hit, right, if they're jumping. If they do jump, actually, and then you mistime it, it's actually really advantageous. This is something I did want to mention with Soul, or not Soul, but Sin. All of your special moves, or if they're air blocked, they could be pretty much they could become plus on block scenarios, right? Like that. And so this is just how it is for him. Like if you take the dash cancel, in most cases, you will be super plus, and sometimes you can just be little plus, right? And I'll talk about those moves individually. But if you're really good about like confirming stuff, like I think I've gotten a little bit better at doing this just because you're already going to be delaying your follow up. So if you can visually see what they're doing, you can kind of do something like you catch them jumping, right? Oopsies. Oh. And you can kind of take your turn like that, right? And it's kind of a free in for only 1 bar of stamina, which is pretty decent, right? And it's actually in that scenario, because they have so much block stun, you can even go for a strike throw, or even if you're really greedy, you can actually go for an overhead or something like that. I'm going to mention this for all the special moves, by the way, that like the air block scenario, because it's such a common thing for Sin to either hit someone in the air with Beak Driver or the follow-up, and same thing with Hoof Stomp or Hawk Baker. And Elkite doesn't hit people in the air, so don't really worry about that one. So real quick recapping. Learn the OS. Mid-screen on hit, you can either do L-cut or dash bar slash for immediate. Anything else will not work, right? You're never going to be in range to get a throw unless you take the dash cancel. If you take the dash cancel, you can get all the scenarios that you would want. In the corner, you can just press whatever you want. It's super frame advantage in the corner, and super blessed. And then learn the delay counters. Oh, I didn't show you the combo real quickly. So why do you want to... Also, if they delay it, and they do mash for some reason, which they will. On counter hit... Oh, I gotta change it to mash. On counter hit, you can actually dash cancel. If you could confirm this... Oh, shoot. See that? You don't want that to happen. Alright. You get a free combo, right? Mind you, like, if you take the dash cancel on this, it's really expensive, too. So I think I did the combo. I don't remember. Oh man, I'm an old man. But yeah. In the corner... Oh shoot, let me mention the corner. In the corner, I do recommend you just go straight into S. Oopsies. It's a little tight. Oopsies. What was it? I think it's just that. Oh my god, no. Oh no. I was laughing this earlier, so I don't want to forget, and I forgot. But yeah, just take that. Mainly because it doesn't cost any dash, it doesn't even meter to dash forward. I think you can even do a 2K. Something like that. Yeah, of course, if you want to burn the stamina, you can get a much stronger combo. Oh shoot, I have no stamina. Right. You get a full combo. And so the damage is really good off the counter hits, but it's gonna be a challenge between you deciding if you want to burn all the stamina or not. Ideally, you can always just hold at least 1 bar of stamina so you have a free secret cancel. But okay, that should be everything about Beak Driver. Oh, I mean, and don't think that it does have a really... Oh, I should mention this too. I kind of mentioned it in the previous video when I talked about the normals. It is 6P-able. So you're gonna see it happen a lot because people like to do it. But don't worry, you have like the complete super answer to it. So I go with L-Kite, and I guess we'll just go into L-Kite. It's because it seems like the most natural progression from Beak Driver and L-Kite. L-Kite's like super buff in this game. In all honesty, the neutral use of this move is just like you just sit here and then watch them spaz out because they're gonna do something because either they can react to Elkine or they can't. And if they can't, they're gonna kill themselves by pressing buttons preemptively to stop you from doing Elkine. Right. It's the same thing for Beak Driver where you kind of want to either do it if you do it like super fast, there's no hole, or you can delay it slightly to get a combo, right? And so let me talk about this, like the actual scenario from this tier. So from here, right, this is a really common scenario to be in for Sin. If you don't take the dash cancel, your options are pretty limited, but they're still pretty good, right? 2S will be any option, including jumps. And so if you think they are trying to hold up after that, you can just kind of clip them with a 2S and you'll be living pretty. Though the range at this is pretty tricky. Another one you can do, but I don't believe it actually works. Let's see. Anyway, I'm testing this with you guys because I need to make sure. It's doing 2H. I'm pretty sure they could jump here, so don't know if I recommend. They can do 5 feet, I can jump for sure. So, is that a block? Yeah, so don't recommend that. we tested it together. If you're wondering what you can go for here, like or from this scenario, I would say only it's really 2S. That's really it. But it is a free 2S, right? Like they can't. There's not much counterplay they can do to it. So, I mean, worst case they block it, and that's about it, right? They're coming out a guard crush. That guard crush is +7. And this is 12, so it leaves a 5-frame hole. Was it 12? I forget. It's 7 and 12, but. Oh yeah, I guess one thing I haven't really been testing too is just how good Far Slash is in that scenario. I don't know if they could 6P here actually. I'm kind of curious. If they can 6P, I'll be really sad. I wouldn't. I'm gonna assume they can actually, but let's see. Let's learn together. Yeah, they can. But I mean, you have 2S. And so in the corner, it's almost the same scenario. You actually don't get anything new. It's the exact thing. Like you can probably dash a little bit more. Like you can dash in maybe 2K or something, but it's still pretty dicey. Where it gets really strong. This is probably the hardest decision you're gonna have to make in terms of meter if you want to dash cancel this because of how strong this mix-up is. If you take a dash cancel after this, there is no room for like the player can't do anything. There's a it's at that scenario if you do a throw, you're always going to win. You will always win, right? Right? And then if they choose to do a throw, right? If they choose to throw you here, and you do close slash, you always win. And so this is just a straight up 50-50 for your opponent's life. And whether it's hard to decide. Like this is like one of the biggest things. Like it's really strong. Like this is just a straight up guess for your opponent, right? It's a strike throw guess that they have to take. And with very limiting options. If you have meter on this, like there's very little they can do to really get out of this, right? They're gonna try to backdash or whatever. Then it doesn't matter. You just Roman cancel. And so that's pretty much where, Alcon is. Oh, I guess the other I didn't really mention this part. Alcon's really good about beating any people in the air. So if you ever see them coming up in the air, Alcon them. It's really good at beating any mid-range tech too. But I want to mention something that's really particular about this. Alkine is more of a move that you want to come like you're gonna be doing it a little bit earlier. So does that mean you're like gonna be going in kind of like you're gonna commit to it pretty early versus like trying to do it reactively, right? You could do reactive play like when you see them in the air, but if you're trying to do like neutral versus neutral, like on the ground, Alkine is pretty prone to lose because it doesn't low profile to frame 10. And well, a lot of characters have good 10 frame or some even have 9 frame normals that will just bop you out of trying to do Elkine, so it makes it really difficult to use. And so that's why like you have to kind of like use in conjunction with like Far Slash, and Elkine is kind of how you mitigate the risk of getting poked out of Elkine. Trying to think of another scenario. I think this is more or less it, right? Just take this 2S, right? Meaty 2S. Oh, I didn't really talk about dash canceling, but yeah, I should have mentioned this too. For all of the first hits are pretty good for doing a throw. If you are abrupt enough with it, like it's a pretty good opportunity to go for a throw, in my opinion. Like a lot of times, even like at high level play, just getting a random beat driver into a throw is really strong. And I'm sorry about that. I know this is like mistimed, but I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, when do I incorporate that? And so yeah, use Elka. It crushes mids. It's plus a million if you do the fault. But remember, it's really expensive at +2 stamina, right? You see, I'm losing a bunch of stamina at the gauge, right? Um, I mean, in all honesty, I think just doing it for the guard gauge and then the frames to kind of just like be aggressive with dashing forward a little bit is more than enough. Is adequate enough, right? It's also actually a pretty good spot to do something if you want to do something like that. It's pretty decent. I'm not a big BRC fan with Sin, but that is a pretty viable spot to do because their options are so limited from +7. Right? Okay, so let's move on to my boy, the Hoof Stomp. Okay, uh, this move is so good. Like it's just like the things it does is kind of insane. Like this is I could list so many positives about this move, and I'm gonna try to. So as a neutral move, um, okay, it does have neutral moves too. It beats lows. Typically, like anything that's a low hitting move, it'll just beat. Like, let me switch the character to Geo real quick while I talk about this. And so, because like I want to demonstrate this in all of its glory. And Geo's a good example. So Hoof Stomp, it's your 21 frame overhead, and a lot of times you're gonna be using it realistically. Like the best times to be using it is from 5H, right? Like it's gonna be this, right? Like that's just how you use it, right? You go 5H and then you do either L cut for a low. I said this a million times, or Hoof Stomp for the overhead. Okay, and that's just what you do. But there are some neutral uses for it too, right? So this is like my favorite one, right, in the whole wide world. What am I doing? There, like that. All right. Yes, like Hoof Stomp just beats Geo's 2D. It beats a lot of moves. Like it beats a lot of weird like moves that are just hit low for some reason. I think Geo's like the one that goes, huh? It must beat a lot of things, and it does. It beats a lot of things as a low move, right? And so like a lot of times, uh, if people are poking with like these slower buttons like that, I mean like 2D or whatever, Hoof Stomp's a pretty good answer. If you don't, I mean, realistically, you should just kind of bide your time and just be careful and go for a whiff punish on these situations. But I think it is pretty cool that if you do need to make a play or like an approach on them, Hoof Stomp is a a very viable option for beating low options. Like, so if they're trying to keep you out 2K like lows or whatever, it has to be slow lows because if they do a 2K, it actually might be too fast. They might be able to block the time. So I'll try to show you an example of this. How am I gonna do this? I'm running in. Okay, well, it might depend on the character, but yeah, depending on the 2K, that they might be able to block, or especially if they're doing like crouching jabs or something, Hoof Stomp might not even connect, and it could be a really bad situation for you because this move is minus on block, like a bajillion trillion, bajillion trillion, bajillion, 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 bajillion. Actually, let's put it to counter hit attack. I'll do 5H. I'm pretty sure 5H actually punishes this. Which is like the big kick, right? Let's see here. We'll do 5H. I don't know if a Geo would do this. Oh, also, did I do it on the wrong one? I did. No! But yeah, no, we're good. We're good. We're good. Um. Alright, here we go. We're doing it! Oh! Yeah. I don't know how fast that is, but I'm guessing it's like 10, 12. It's minus a lot. And so, remember how I was talking about the frame 1 thing for Sin? Like, you know, from Beak Driver, you know, it applies to all of his recas. This one is even more important. Alright. You definitely want that. Because it's gonna be the one where people mash the most on. I guarantee you they're gonna hit buttons after that, and you need to have that timing down. Or, you know, you really should. It's just really important. Um, so, yeah. Do this. It beats lows. The follow-up, I think it's -8, right? So only a handful of characters can actually punish this on block without an instant block. Notably, Axel. I think Axel gets a 5p into Snail, which is kind of it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And so you have to be really careful, and you gotta pray to Jesus that they don't know how to. They can't block this overhead on reaction. So yeah. Let me. Oh, I didn't talk about this too. On counter hit, right? On counter hit, even on hit or counter hit on the first hit, you get nothing. There is one special scenario where you do get a combo, and it does come up a lot because people do dash 6p a lot in this game. Right there. You see how it's typically it's 2 hits. In those scenarios, you do get a combo, right? So you do. I'm pretty sure you can do 2p now. Right? And those happen enough that I think with like just how the timing of how it hits, you will be able to confirm those internals into combos if you choose to. Also, this is something I really recommend too. You should probably like I mentioned this too for hit confirming. This is probably one of the most optimal uses of meter in the game for Sin is basically just confirming the overhead into super directly. Right? If you do the follow up, I mean you can, but the damage differential is like minute, and you're down a bar of stamina. So I would really recommend that you learn how to, you know, not do a super afterwards. I would really recommend it. Let me talk about this too. So mid screen, you get no amount of Oki in the mid screen with this move, right? So if you're dashing after this and you're wondering why you're getting bopped, it's because you don't really get a lot of frame advantage after this. I think you're maybe, I want to say like plus 10 at most, right? Which isn't a whole lot, it's counting that you sent them halfway across the screen from you, right? Right. I mean, well, maybe. No, there's no way. Yeah, they're gonna do something. They're getting out. They're getting out, right? Like no matter what you do, they're gonna get out. So, of course, this is probably the thing. This is also gonna be the next big meter decision for you. Do I dash cancel this? And the answer for me is like, yeah, probably. If I have meter, I'm hella gonna cancel it. Right? If you have meter or you have burst, I would probably go for the cancel. Because you have so many other ways of keeping pressure now in this game. Because I know I haven't mentioned Wild Assault yet. I don't know when I'm gonna talk about Wild Assault. I don't know when, but I will talk about it with this character because it's really good. It's really strong on Sin. And so yeah, you don't really get a lot of Oki from this, right? And I think it's fine. Like, as you get more comfortable with the game, and then you realize how good this is, right? Getting these two elk hunts into 5k, like just letting them back off, and then just chilling in both stamina, so you can do more of this into dash cancel into a true 50-50. It's pretty good. It's pretty strong. In the corner, the most you're gonna get is a meat. Well, okay, this changed in this season, but so after in the corner, you still won't be able to get deep enough of a dash to get a throw. Like no matter what, you're gonna get jabbed out. It's just how it is, right? I mean, so what you can do is 5H now. So this is really good because that 5H will catch the backdashes, and you could go into your 50-50 from there. If you so choose to, you can also just go directly into the overhead. Still a bit risky. Shoot. Actually, I'm pretty sure Gio's gonna jab you out of it. Bro, damn. I can't do quarter circle max. Yeah. And so, this is what you have to do in Season 2, but with the inclusion of 5H being so good, I really just recommend that after you do this in the corner, you just go directly into 5H. Alright, you could still do 2S, but there's more counterplay from your opponent, right? Like I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, but if you go to 2S and you go into Hoof Stomp or Elk Hunt, it's actually they can match buttons in between it, and it's bad times. And so that's why I recommend you just go into 5H, right? You saw it's hitting Geo when she's doing 5P, and it's just a really good option after. It's like the best option in my opinion after Hoof Stomp follow up in the corner. One thing too, this is gonna happen all the time. Like you're gonna be doing because you're not always gonna be doing 5H and Hoof Stomp, right? You're gonna be doing stuff like that, right? Like close slash into it. Because all of his close slashes, his Ks and stuff, and Hoof Stomp actually have pretty big hole. Like, I don't know, it's gonna depend on what move it is, but there's quite a few frames. Typically, I don't like what happens a lot is they're gonna see people do something like. Oh, she's in. Hold on, I'm gonna do. Jump. There it is. Jump, and like they're gonna be jumping a lot. And what Hoof Stomp is actually really good about is like it kind of stops people from jumping just in general. Oh, right there, right? What's really good about this scenario? It's actually plus. So let's see here. I'm gonna test this. Alright, here, do 5p. Alright, so we're gonna do some shenanigans real quick. So what's gonna happen? We're gonna do. Sorry. Alright, and then now we're gonna switch it to Jack Jab. This is gonna be a pain in the butt to test. Alright, and then hopefully I can mash. I'm worried because they're gonna. I think what's happening is that by the time I unpause this, like Gio's already mashing the jab, and I can't do mine fast enough. There, right? And so you know if you change that to a 2p, there's no hole. Oh my gosh, just believe. So yeah, if you go directly into 2p, 2k or whatever, like if they only have a 5 frame, like yeah, that 2k is pretty much guaranteed, and you're out of range to get for a throw. Oh my gosh. I will demonstrate this for you because I think it's so important. All right, and then I don't know. Let's say they do 2k, crouching K, and we're 2k. Right, like you can't even do a throw at that range. I don't know how I probably do a throw too. There it is, 30. This is such a pain in the butt to test. Okay. All right. Oh no, they're jumping. They're gonna mash throw. Right, just that perfect range. So yeah. And of course, this is also assuming it's like a super like that's doing it like they're jumping like almost immediately. They're just holding up back, which typically they might not do. They'll kind of do a fuzzy jump, so that jump's going to be even later. And if it's a later jump, you have even more frame advantage to work with. So yeah, yeah, you'll see it a lot. Just know that you are frame advantage, and just do a midi 2k or 2p, and you'll keep them grounded. And if you're really really keen, you can turn that those hits into a combo right now. It's just really strong. Yeah, so I covered it, right? So I covered overhead, just do this a lot after 5H. Neutral beats a lot of lows, right? Beats this. Oopsies. Right? Oh my god. There it is. And yeah, it's really strong. Oh yeah, it's super minus on hit. If you do the first hit, you don't cancel it. And then on block, go into the follow-up, and the follow-up will usually push you back far enough that you don't have to worry about too much. Oh, I guess I'll show you the counterplay to this. Let me show you. I'm going to do it with Sin versus Sin, because it's probably going to be easier. One thing that you're going to have to deal with, and there is no easy answer to how you're going to have to deal with this, is that actually a lot of Sin's game plan falls apart if they start instant blocking. And this is kind of like the scariest part about it. Let's see if I can. I don't even know if I can do this reliably. Right, so. Right, too far, right? I can't punish? Let's make it this. Right there. Yeah. That is the actual counter to Sin's game plan. That's why I did mention that you should learn like the frame 1 timing for instant blocking, or like for just for staggering. It's like you can catch them jumping and whatever. But at some point you're probably gonna have to start even delaying it even more, just to kind of make sure that they don't always instant block it at the same time. It's gonna happen though. You're gonna run into a player that will instant block it, and you're gonna have a hard time because because like I said, Sin's his overhead and his low are reactable, and that just leaves them to if you decide to do it and then they instant block you, well, you're gonna need a game plan beyond that, and that's where I think Sin has a really rough time. Okay, so overhead, we did Hoof Stomp. We did Beak Driver. We did Elk Hunt. So, alright, we'll do it. We'll do the elephant one. The elephant in the room. This one. The DP. This one's pretty wild, right? Because, okay, um, you have to learn the card cancel, right? And I mentioned this before, right? You just do this 236, 236, and then press dash button, and get a super, right? I mean, it's true for all of his specials, right? You just do the card. You just do a card cancel. And so I say why this is really good. Like, he has the best DP in the game right now, right? Without a doubt in my mind. Maybe Leo has maybe a little bit better one defensively, because I don't know if his slash one hits both sides anymore. But yeah, the fact that you get a wall break from anywhere with this character is pretty gnarly. And something that I don't think is always mentioned about it is that because it has a follow up, you build a lot more gauge on it than you would actually be surprised about, right? So if I set it to, like, let's say like 40, how is 40 enough? Right? Even if like a little bit well below 50%, you still have enough to build a super. And so that's what's kind of nice about it, because you know, like all these things have to follow, so it's all extra meter you have for your character. They changed something that's kind of interesting too, is that on counter hit you get something really weird now. Not really weird, but this didn't exist before. You get a 2P afterwards. You can Roman cancel it and do stuff off of it, but I mean, neutral uses for this move, you can just do it. If you don't know 100% what to do, like, and you need to just go in, just do it. Just go in, man. Just do it. I mean, I shouldn't be endorsing it, but yeah, you just run up there and that's how you do it. Because a lot of times what's gonna happen too is that a lot of players, especially like the newer ones, they don't know how to deal with it. And what do I mean by this? So if they don't know how to deal with Sin's DP, you won the game. That's as far as I can tell. You've won the game because this DP is cheap and they don't know how to deal with it. So what Sin's DP does, it's 2 hits on, or it's 1 hit on the way up, on the way down, and then there's a follow up, and all of these DPs could have they all could be dash canceled, right? So you can do this, right, and dash cancel, right, and so just the fact that you can have a reversal that's all like already pretty squirrely to deal with is really annoying. A lot of players. I'm gonna just show you real quickly how you're supposed to probably deal with it. So, oh no, I'm blocking. Right. You actually just do a small dash, and then do a button. This is how I recommend it, right? Uh, right. If you typically want to punish it. However, I'll at least show you what you should be doing as a sim player if you want to avoid this scenario. Uh, you want to make it. You want to do your DP in a range where their close slash may or may not come out. Uh, right. And that's like the trickiest part with Sin. But I mean, if they just go for a micro dash, I think typically you will get punished all the time for it. Uh, and another really super easy way to punish it is actually just hit him on the way down if you don't know what to do. Right, just hit him on the way down with something and you'll figure it out. That's like the safest way of dealing with it, because there are going to be scenarios where Sin's like a lot of the times, like you can see you'll know how to punish it if you like are punishing it from like a block at neutral or something, but you're not not necessarily know how to punish it from like when Sin is just running at you like a lunatic, and he does something like from over here. Like what do you how are you gonna punish that DP? He's like a mile away from you. He landed on top of you, right? And so now you're blocking the second hit of it, which I want to talk about, but this is actually really hard to explain because like it's the scenarios are not easy to set up. But let's see if I can just test this out. So we'll go in the corner. Uh so and that's actually a guaranteed block string, right? If they ever block the second hit of it, you actually do have enough control on your opponent where they might not have a lot of counterplay immediately, right? So you can kind of force them to take a guess between that. You're either going to do the follow up or the throw. And so it kind of looked like this, right? So you're going in. Oh no, whiff! Like that, right? At that point, the first hit of it has like actually a lot of blocks on. Right? So I think if I actually do a slash. Does that work? Hold on. Okay. Like I have to immediately mash that, right? If I want to get out of it. Let's say, oh, I'm waiting for a reaction, right? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, that was a close slash, right? That's what I went for. Um, and yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I made it look a lot weaker than it is, but you know, in like a live fire situation, that follow up is actually going to be really obnoxious to deal with, and that's also a grounded block hit, right? Let's say the scenario is the air block hit, right? Like how am I going to test this? I think I'm just making the jump. This is a lot, by the way. This is going to be a lot, but I want to talk about this because this is a scenario that like this is kind of why you see me DP a lot, because if in the scenario that right, because I already mentioned that if they block the second hit, the scenario is a lot more different to punish, right? But it's even more crazy if you can get only the second hit to block in the air. It's actually plus. And so you're getting a nice check on their air buttons. So like if you know like how people like kind of like throw out buttons early or whatever, so you can actually DP this right here to try to hit their buttons on the way down, right? And then or like you know as they're pressing buttons, and if they don't press a button, they're gonna get hit. They're gonna have to deal with this right here, this scenario where they just block the DP in the air, and then you have plus frames. And so I don't know if I'm endorsing this, but yeah, basically if you see them in the air, just DP them, right? Just DP them. Something that's also pretty strong too is like, because you know how DPs are countered state. For whatever reason, if Sin does his dash cancel, it's not countered state. So let's see, Sin do a DP. Sin dash up. Wait, why are you jumping? There we go. So yeah, I mean you still get the hit, but it's not a counter hit combo, right? And so how much this hurts will depend on the character, but I guarantee you it's better than getting hit by a counter hit combo. So you have control over how you want to get hit. What's even crazy, I didn't even talk about like all the nuances of how to do the Roman cancel stuff. So, right, so we know we can go into super for Roman too. You know, on block rate, like it's pretty crazy. Of course, there is counterplay from your opponent, but you know, like depending on like the biggest thing is that what I'm really trying to say is that when like it's not always going to be clear for your opponent on what they need to do to punish it, depending on how you DP. By no means is this an endorsement to spam DPs. Just do it. Just DP them. Just do it. But you know, that's just like what it is. That's how it is. Just know that you're gonna use this DP, man. You're gonna use this DP, but like there's gonna be scenarios where it's not so bad, right? And then don't forget, even with the other factors, like let's say you're at this range of meter, you build the meter to get 50 meter to have the Roman cancel, right? So like while you're like, so a lot of times you know what's gonna happen is that your opponent's gonna be like, yo, bro, you don't have 50 meter, you can't Roman cancel. Well, you're just like, bro, now I can. Right? And that's all the meanwhile where like they still have to take this guess. Oh shoot, I didn't mention the follow up. So the follow up is actually completely involved. Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna do this show you. Right? I'm gonna try secret. Yeah, right? And so yeah, right there, like it's not uncommon to see players just like if they see you land and it's already too late for them to do a close slash, they might just try to go for a throw. And so that's fine. I think it's worth taking. Wow, whoa, pad. Why are you being crazy? Right. Okay, cool. So yeah. Oh, right. I didn't talk about the scenarios, right? So, right. On normal hit, you actually don't get any Oki. You get none. It's just like it's fine because like you know, sometimes like you just want to just convert a hit and then go back to neutral. This is fine. Maybe like you're like I think you're like maybe like +3, +5 maybe at most. You're not doing a whole lot from a DP without a dash cancel, right? Of course, if you dash cancel, you're Gucci, man. You get some pretty, you're nice and deep in there. In the quarter, this is really awkward. You're actually, you could be out of range to do anything, but you can get a 5k or 2k, but you don't really get a whole lot of this, so it's pretty tricky. And in training mode, it seems that 5k and 2k are going to connect, but I guarantee you there's going to be scenarios like where maybe you kind of end up in a corner like this, and you're just out of range for 5k, 2k. And that situation sucks because I don't have a really good answer for what you press there, because sometimes they just like contest you. You're gonna have a hard time. One thing that I do want to mention too about this is that you're actually out of range for a throw if you just stand there. um, da, 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 da. Attack setting, recovery, do a throw, do a throw. There it is. So, right. However, if you do the follow up, wait, how do I test this? Oh, no. If they block this, if they block it, if they block it, if they block it, if they block it. Right. Oh, darn it. Oh, fiddle stickies. Oh, there we go. So this doesn't happen too much because I don't think most people will go for a throw right here, but they might. It's out of range for a throw. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's like even if you're like right there, it just always will be a throw will never connect. So it could be a pretty good check every once in a while, right? Because especially if you do like a really delayed follow up. However, if you do the follow up, you're gonna throw. uh, it's an unfortunate scenario, but yeah, that's how it is. There is something you can do, but it's super frame perfect. You can actually do, let's say the R mashing throw. If you do the follow up with a one frame hole or even 2 frames, you will come out ahead, and you will be able to hit them with a counter hit. And oh, thank God I brought this up too. Okay, so oopsies. The follow up on counter hit can be converted into a combo. Dun, dun, dun. Oi. Uh, I'm gonna do something generous. This is a very generous scenario that they match hard slash. Um, right. You do get a combo. It's not a okay. The combo does like no damage, by the way. It does absolutely nothing. You might as well heal your opponent. Shoot, I messed up. Uh, but you consider the fact that you build meter off of it, which is like probably the most important part. Is so like you take the dash cancel, you hit them a few times, build the meter, and then go for a sweeper, right? You build like maybe what, like 25% right there of a bar. And so, if you have 25%, you hit them with a follow up, you have enough to do a DP combo into a super, right? Just bonus meter for you. Another scenario that will happen actually is if you hit them really high in the air. Regardless of if it's counter hit or not. So I don't know. I don't know if this actually always works from a jump, but something like that. I don't. Like something like that usually happen. I'm gonna get this for you. There you go. Hey. Oi. Alright, you have to believe me on this. Shoot, how do I do this one? I want to demonstrate this for you guys. Shoot, it does work. That you will have a scenario where the DP will hit high enough that you get the follow up, and you'll kind of know, you'll see, and you'll recognize the scenario. And for whatever reason too, like the follow up by itself just hits on a normal hit or counter hit, you do get a combo as well. Let's see if I can do this in an interesting and meaningful way. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know. Yeah. Shoot. I knew I wanted. This is one of my talking points, but I didn't. I don't know how to show it, so I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, it does exist. The easiest way I could do it is a counter hit. A counter hit's like super easy. Right. That does happen. This only ever works on an air hit, but it can work on a normal hit as well. Right. So this is also why you'll see me also just DP them all the time when I see them in the air. Because for the one, right, if I do DP you, it hits on counter hit, I get a combo. If you block it and then I land on top of you, I have advantage. So it's like you know what I mean. So you want to figure out how to use all those scenarios to really leverage the DP strength, and it does take a little bit of practice and awareness for you and the opponent to kind of really make that feel strong. All right, so the last move, still growing. All right, this is really short. This is like the 4.5. This move sucks. But what it does do is that you know how like Sin doesn't really have a fireball, and sometimes you'll have characters that don't have a fireball as well, but they have a life lead, so they'll just sit there and do nothing. What you can do in this character, like scenarios, is just start doing this. And then maybe if you're lucky, you'll build some meter or build negative penalty. But yeah, you can just secretly sneak it in. You are building a small bit amount of meter when you do this, even if you don't get the meter build one. But sometimes you'll get ice cream and you get a lot of meter. And I think that's the only big one right there is typically ice cream, because sometimes they can just give you like 20% of your meter back, which is pretty nice. But yeah, that should be all the special moves. We did them all. Realistically, just remember, I really recommend, so like just a quick idea. Beak driver, pretty good. Nice neutral move, stab people with it. Tip is disjointed. Hoof stomp is your high. It's your high. It's really good for going over lows if you choose to do that. L cut is your neutral move for going underneath mids, and it's really really good. Beak driver or not beak driver, Hawk Baker the DP. I mean, it gets you a lot, man. It really does. It's a really really strong DP, right? I mean, it's a combo tool. It's an offensive tool. Oh, I guess I should do something. From Roman cancel, I mean, it's pretty good even on block. It is airborne, so like I said, it's pretty good Roman cancel candidate, right? Right, just Roman cancel it like a normal would DP, and then just press buttons all the way down. It's pretty good. And it's still growing. I mean, it exists. Don't worry about it. All right, that should have been the special moves. I'm gonna definitely start adding timestamps because I feel like I kind of definitely meandered a little bit with these. I definitely did. So, but I mean, I think I covered them enough, and then hopefully you kind of just enjoyed listening to me about all the moves, and hopefully I covered something you guys haven't really thought about before. Because I thought, that's why I did it. That's why I did it in such like a big scope, right? That's why the videos are so long, because I just really want to cover a lot of scenarios that happen for each individual special move and normal and whatnot. So next one should be, it might be short. It might just be do supers. I'll just talk about the supers and all their usages. And then after that, I'm thinking about doing gauges, like how to use all those gauges, and then after that I'll do Oki and mix, and that should be the last. Those those are the 3 videos that we'll be doing. I don't know if I'll do combos. I doubt I'll do any. I don't think I'll be doing combos anytime soon because I still think the game is fresh, and so I think his combo routes might change just a little bit. So I don't want to put anything out there and just be like, hey, these are like the optimal combos, and then a week later there's a Twitter video saying, hey, you can do this, and it's more optimal. All right, everyone, thank you for listening. You take care of yourselves. I'm gonna go and stream on Twitch or something. All right, peace out, guys.